Hi, I'm the chair from the Marathon Mates, and welcome to episode number 138. On tonight's episode, we're going to share with you our non-negotiables when it comes to picking and choosing races to run and destinations to travel to. We love running, and we each have a gazillion races on our bucket lists. But how do we choose the events that we do run, and what makes them so special to us? Well, we're going to share that with you tonight on how we select the races, whether it's because of the bling or the uniqueness of the location or the expo, or just because it could be we may be chasing APB as well. And whatever the reasons, we are going to share that with you as to how we do it. As you know, we love running and we love sharing our adventures of running around the world. We are the only podcast with 5 7-star world major marathon finishes. And this is the Flying Runner podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the flying runner for you and me.
Welcome back. Now, before we have a laugh and talk about the race location non-negotiables, let me introduce you to our regular co-hosts, Tony, Tara, Tim, and of course our newest co-host, Peter, who for some reason keeps coming back to the show. So I don't know if she likes it or she's just got nothing to do on the nights that we record, but we're very honoured to have Peter as part of the team. Guys, what's everyone been up to? And I'm going to start with Peter.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I do have nothing better to do, actually. Why not come along and talk about running? But I actually got to parkrun on the weekend, guys. Doesn't happen that often for me, but Paradise Point is my local at the moment, and it was pace a week, so I just couldn't resist. I love doing pacing there, and the 40-minute group fits in perfectly with my marathon easy runs, so we were extremely lucky with the weather. So 5K on Saturday at Parkrun, and then Sunday it was a bit of a deload week, and you know you're getting to the tail end of marathon training when it's a drop down to 20K, and you think, oh, 20K, that's nice. Whereas 8 weeks ago it would have horrified me. So 20K long run, and then managed to get through Sunday without needing to take a nap, so I call that a win.
Now, Peter, how many weeks? Sorry, Tim.
Oh,
So I was just going to say, I love the Paradise Point Parkrun. I walked there
it's a good one, huh?
most Thursday evenings. Yeah, it's a great spot out there. So
yeah, it's a lovely course, nice and flat. If any of the listeners haven't been there yet, and along the waterfront there, and there's lots of cafes for post parkrun coffee, which is awesome. But yeah, I think it's 5 weeks to go now to Hobart. It's going way too quick.
And then it's 7 to Ballarat, isn't it?
7 to Ballarat, yeah.
Jeez. Very
that's
exciting.
That's just the cool down, isn't it?
Something like that. But I've never done 2 marathons this closely together, so it's going to be interesting.
Oh, you'll be right. At least they're in the same country.
Well, that's true. That's a first for me.
And Team Ellis, what have you guys been up to?
So we have been doing. So I've actually been doing some coaching. So not me coaching somebody. Actually getting a professional coach to coach me, and that's on a Tuesday mornings. It's through the RMA girls. So if anyone in Australia knows of the Running Mums Australia, one of the ladies is a professional or is a proper coach. She's quite accredited, and she runs backyard ultras and eats them for breakfast. So it's great to have a proper coach teaching me, the way it should be done, not me just go, oh, let's do this today. So I've noticed a huge improvement in my running over the last 4 weeks while I've been seeing her. So that's been good. And Saturday, Tim and I, we did Capestone Lakes. Is that Capestone Lakes? Yeah, Capestone Lakes Parkrun. It's a lovely course just around the lake at Mango Hill, north side of Brisbane. Got to catch up with some friends there, which was lovely. One of my good friends, Di, she paced me so that I could get under 32 minutes, and I think I managed it in about 31 20 something, I think. So that was nice. Sunday we did our long run. Tim actually smashed his out and did really, really well. He did 21.1 Ks. And I started with him, and at 4Ks, I just said to him, go. I couldn't get my heart rate in the right zone. It was just spiking all over the place, which was making me feel sick. The pacemaker was kicking in overly too much. So I just stopped and walked the last bit of that. So I did 15 Ks of walking and the 4Ks of running. But yeah, it was fine for me. It's better than doing nothing at all. So yeah, that was our week.
And Sarah, just curious, what made you decide to get a coach after all these years of running?
Well, I sort of fell into it, believe it or not. So Nicole, who was the RMA coach, she put up on the RMA website or the Facebook page, just saying that she was going to do running coaching on Tuesday mornings. And if anyone wants to join her, feel free. So I've been doing that with her, and it's literally a free running coaching session as well. So there's a group of about 5 of us that go, all different varying abilities, and Nicole caters for us all. So it's not one-on-one coaching, but it is, she's a proper coach and she is free. So if anyone wants to join us, 5:30 on a Tuesday morning, any Northside Brisbane ladies, Nicole is more than happy for more people to join us. But yeah, it's a great incentive for us to actually learn more about running even again.
How far is that from South Bank?
From where she's doing it, probably about 14, 15 Ks. Are you thinking about coming in on a Tuesday morning?
Might be a little bit too far for me.
Maybe.
You can catch the train.
Yeah, it's right next to the train station that we do it.
Okay. We'll take this offline. It could be a possibility. Anything else you want to add in, Team Alice?
I actually ran fast too at Parkrun on Saturday. So, I did all right there. I got my fastest time for a little while. So happy with that. The 21 Ks yesterday was into a strong headwind on the way back. So that wasn't exactly pleasant. I think last week I talked about life getting in the way of my running, but this week I had it a little bit more under control. So I got all but probably one or 2 sessions in that I wanted. Getting more consistent with my running is the thing that I'm aiming to do at the moment. So, keep it going this week.
Awesome. And Tony, what's news from you?
Well, I went for a walk on Saturday, and then I went for a smaller walk on Sunday. To me, I think my major focus is just getting a bigger TV for the gym room here that we've got at home, because I think I'm going to be spending a little bit of time in there. I've got an appointment this Wednesday night with someone who is the best knee surgeon in Brisbane. I've been lucky enough to snavel an appointment in a week. Normally the waiting list is about 6 weeks to see this gentleman. So thank you very much, Dolph Francis, my amazing physio. So once I've seen Tim, I will have a much better understanding of what my options are and what I've actually done and recovery time. So just looking forward to knowing more than anything else, because it's really, I don't want to swear, it's really annoying me, because if anyone saw me walking, they'd think there's nothing wrong with me. But I'll give you an example of how this thing plays up. So I was walking backwards for a little bit because Sharon was behind me and I was talking to her, and, sometimes you just walk backwards, right? So as I've turned around to then go forward again, the knee hurt, right? So it's the movement of getting out of the car that hurts. It's lying flat and having your leg straight that ultimately starts to send the knee aching. So it's just one of those really frustrating things. I'm really tired of wearing a support around the knee. I'm now trying some hot and cold therapy. So I got home from work, put some ice on it. And then once I had that done, had a quick shower, and then I rubbed some heat into it, because the problem once people get a little bit older with their knees is that the blood flow is quite limited. And so anything that you do to your knees post 50 takes a while to recover from, which is why I guess what I'm looking at is surgery to sort of hasten that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just wanting to know. So that's my running week, bugger all. From a feedback from Listener Week, I was talking with Tim today and the group, and I think we now need to call Mark our UK correspondent. He is an avid fan and supporter of the podcast, and Mark sent on his socials. He did a really good review of the X Miles Bolton half marathon that he completed, and full credit to Mark. It looks like about an hour 30 for the 21K, so that's quick. But he hasn't painted a really good picture of this course. So it's 3 laps of a 7-kilometer loop on a less than flat course with a number of switchbacks, some difficult underfoot on cobbles, some terrible road surfaces, and a small trail section thrown in for good measure. So, I'm not traveling to the UK to run that, Mark. I'm just saying that right now. But also then to top it off, unfortunately, his second lap wasn't, he didn't get an official time for it. So currently he's not listed as an official finisher. So I hope that gets sorted out. But Mark, we really do appreciate you supporting the podcast. And he's always throwing a Your Pace and Glory song onto his Instagram. And the one he did for his marathon was I Can Do Hard Things, and it sounds like you did a very hard thing with that half marathon there. So, so that's.
I was just going to say we need to get him on as a listener versus special guest to come on and talk about himself and give us a unique European view on things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, outside of that, guys, just a really quick question. I know it's on the Run Sheet Tokyo Marathon discussion, and we had a number of our friends that have succeeded over there, which is awesome. But I'll leave that for Tim and Tara to talk through. But have you heard any horror stories? Would be my question.
Nothing. Not horror. I actually heard some good things about the ASICS stores actually having merch. Yes, the queues were bad at the expo day one, which is always going to happen, but not as bad as previous years. So that actually quite surprised me. But I haven't heard any horror stories.
Yeah, I heard ASICS have finally got their head back in the game of what they're supposed to do as an official sponsor of a marathon. So I heard the same. Good stock of merch, et cetera, et cetera. There was no mad videos of people throwing things everywhere. Probably the only horror story that I heard was, Robert Wang's group World Major Challenge or World Major Marathon Challenge on Facebook is probably the best place to get any sort of advice or tips around the World Majors. A lady missed the start because in Tokyo they close the start line at 8:45 and you've got to be past that by that particular time. So a lady was quite adamant that she thought she'd left enough time, and she spoke about it on another group on Facebook. But one of the things that Robert Wang does so well is he just keeps reiterating some key points, doesn't he? Cutoffs, get into your corrals. You've got to be, all of these things. And the man's, I don't know how he finds time to do his job, because the amount of time he must spend on that Facebook group is amazing. So that was probably, there were people swept, unfortunately. But that I think that's just the reality of Tokyo. So,
but it did seem to go off without a hitch. It was good weather. The elites did well. The back of the packers did well. You're right. The expos seemed to go off without a hitch. It seemed to be an event-free weekend, which is largely what you want to hear. So yeah,
absolutely. And do you want to do a shout out to our friends that completed the marathon?
Yeah, well, we may have been doing a bit of a watch party yesterday, all of us on our Marathon Mates page, but on our group chats, various group chats. But yeah, Reese got through, Namalka and Saminda got through, and Jen Kellett, who we've had on before, won her age group, the 70-year-old women plus. So well done, Jen, but also to Saminda and Namalka and Reese for competing on an excellent course, and also another listener and friend of Tara and mine, Kate, was also there and smashed out a PB. So all up, successful weekend for everyone that we knew that was attending.
Absolutely,
and also,
well done.
And also a shout out to a fellow Sydney Marathon ambassador, Lisa. She also did Tokyo, and seeing her finishing picture, she was all smiles and very happy with how she went. So kudos to you, Lisa. So my week, I had every intention of doing a longer run on Sunday, but the weather in Sydney, I had all my gear out, got up, got changed, was bucketing down. So I pulled the pin, ended up going to the gym. So I did some running on the treadmill and some strength work. Literally, as soon as I walked out of the gym, clear sky. Typical.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. So a couple of shorter runs during the week. So nothing too much. But just before we go on to the next part, just the next Sydney Marathon Run Club is this coming Sunday, the 8th of March, to celebrate International Women's Day. So the link is live on the Sydney Marathon website. So make sure you register for the chance to win some prizes potentially. So great way to start the morning. Great way to start your Sunday morning. It's a 10K run, and you get to spend the morning with me. So really, that could either go one way. You could either register or go, no, bugger it, no. But it's a good chance for people to meet like pacers as well, because each of the run clubs will have pacers, and they are going to have different partners at each one. And there's going to be a panel discussion as well before the event. So anyone that's keen, register for no doubt what will be a fun morning.
Does that include the thick shake and donuts after the session, Luch?
Yochi.
Tony, it goes without saying, exactly. Oh, for any of our... Okay, so speaking of Yochi, did any of our listeners do the Yochi challenge? Because I can admit it, I finally tried Yochi just because of that challenge. So I'm curious to see if any of our listeners also tried Yochi.
What's Yochi?
It's kind of, how do you describe it? Like a frozen yogurt type thing in which you can add
like a
toppings
soft
on.
serve. I'm trying to think of what the Queensland equivalent is. Have we got Yogurtland or
What? Okay, a McFlurry version of a yogurt.
Frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
And
Soft serve.
they charge you by weight, and you can put on various toppings as well. So you can go crazy. Yeah. Thank God I didn't go too crazy. I reckon you'd like it, Tim.
Probably. I like most things.
Well, guys, now's that time of the week where Tara gives us her first clue in Tara's trivia. Tara, so what's the first clue this week?
Excellent. So this is a person that we're talking about this week. This person is a runner, an author, and a TV commentator.
Ooh. So author, commentator. What was
and
the
a runner.
Sorry?
A runner. Very famous runner.
And none of us have any clues either, so we've got no idea.
That's why we're all looking. Well, no, I think Tim knows, because I think Tim saw the ones saw it last week.
Yeah, Tim went through my notes from last week. He knows I'm pre-prepared. So,
I'm not saying that I know or don't know.
So it's not Harry Styles, is it?
It's definitely not a singer. Well,
sorry,
they may
we
be
haven't.
but...
We haven't mentioned Harry Styles as a runner for a long time, so I just thought I had to throw it in there. It might help with our SEO, our search traffic.
Can I ask one more question, and then we'll move on to does this runner do pre-week?
this runner definitely would not do pre-week.
Well, he should be, or he or she should be doing pre-week. So.
No.
This runner knows a little bit about
Pre-week is just week one, and if it's want to be pre-week, then that's just normal
week
training.
Zero.
No, it's week 0 or nothing.
Oh, Lucia, you've just opened up a whole can of worms. Well done.
Thank you very much. So, on that note, let's go to the news. Tim, what's been happening around the world this week?
All right, lots of things have been going on, so I'm going to get through them pretty quickly. The first one is about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a lady called Ashley Paulson, who Tara and I know of, but know of her. She set a new women's world record for 100 miles of running, so it's about 160 kilometres. She won the race by more than 2 hours in a time of 12 hours, 19 minutes and 34 seconds. At an average pace of 7 minutes 21 per mile. Now let's put that into minutes per kilometre. That's 4 minutes 34 per 160 kilometers that she ran per kilometer. That is flying. She's knocked 17 minutes off the previous world record, and she did it in Nevada, just outside of Las Vegas, at an event called the Jackpot 100. If you really want to know what shoes she was wearing a pair of pink Nike Alpha Flies that matched her signature pink ponytail that she runs with. So anyway, great news. Tara and I are familiar with Ashley. She's a regular trainer on the iFit platform that we follow on the treadmills.
Now I know.
You know,
Sorry.
lady, yep. She was also in Sydney last year and was racing there. She's also raced at the Olympic qualifiers for the marathon distance in the US. So she's been around for quite some time, and that is a ridiculous pace. I don't know what you guys think of that, but ridiculous.
Well,
Nice.
Tim, that was pretty much close to your parkrun pace, wasn't it? How would you feel about doing that for 160k?
Yeah, no thanks. And got to remember these are trail runs that she's on, or partially trail, partially road, and there would be some serious hills in there too. So that's just crazy.
Yeah, some people are just seriously better runners than me.
That's it. The next bit of news is there's a new running series. It's like every week there's another new racing series around the world, and we talked about the Super Halves a couple of weeks ago. Now there's another exciting new European marathon concept or series that's just been announced in the last few days, with the highly catchy and wonderful sounding name, the European Marathon Classics. It comprises of 8 well-established events, and the official description is the European Marathon Classics unites iconic races through togetherness, health, and sustainability. We champion equality, welcoming all runners to complete the journey at their own pace. This shared European challenge focuses on personal growth and responsibility. Join a community where every milestone inspires and every participant belongs, leaving a positive trace across the continent. Obviously written by a marketing man or woman, not by a runner. But anyway, basically you are collecting the classics, inspires commitment, pushes personal limits, and rewards perseverance. Each race is a milestone. Together they form a meaningful and motivating European challenge. Anyway, enough of the wanky marketing talk. There's 8 races in the challenge, and the races are the Rome Marathon, held on the 22nd of March, the Vienna Marathon, held on the 19th of April, the Madrid Marathon, held on the 26th of April. Here's the interesting one. The London Marathon is held on the 26th of April, as we know. Copenhagen, which is the one that you did last year, Tony. No, you did Amsterdam. I always get that mixed up. The Copenhagen Marathon held on the 10th of May. I'm just checking to see if you're listening. The Warsaw Marathon on the 27th of September, the Lisbon Marathon on the 10th of October, and the Frankfurt Marathon on the 25th of October. So it's Rome, Vienna, Madrid, London, Copenhagen, Warsaw, Lisbon, and Frankfurt. So the marathon itself, the logo itself, has 10 concentric rings, and that represents the great 10 cities that you run through. Are you confused? There's 8 races, yet 10 cities. So it seems like they're going to add 2 more races to it at some point in time, and they've left room to do that. I wonder if that's because Abbott's is going towards 9 marathons. I don't know. So anyway, it's going to be an interesting concept. Basically, you register online to complete the challenge. You go and run the race. You get a coin, which represents the city that you've run in after you've completed the race. And then you add the coins together to get your overall medal. So it seems like a very European-centric version of the marathon majors, or the Abbott's World Marathon majors. The interesting thing is London's in there. So I don't know, guys. What do you reckon? If it's direct competition or work against World Marathon majors, or it's looking to work in conjunction with it? What I do know is it's getting harder and harder and harder and almost impossible to get into a lot of the World Marathon majors. So this may be seen as another way for people to be able to complete some iconic races. I don't know. What are your thoughts, guys?
I thought it was a bit weird that London was in there, and I'm looking at the list. I wouldn't go out and chase the classics. The only one that out of that list I would probably do would be Rome. But any of the others, I'm not too, like, I wouldn't go out of my way to do Copenhagen, well, like I wouldn't mind going to those places, but I don't know if I would necessarily go to do the marathons.
And is
I
it
thought that-
London from this year only? Sorry, Tony. Like, will they backdate it for people that did it in 2022?
I don't think so.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
No,
So we don't have a coin.
I think they will backdate it.
They are backdating. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Oh,
it
we've
doesn't
got
matter.
one coin, guys.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you have completed them. They do take into account if you have already done them. Look, I thought there was a lot of hype around this and a lot of headlines saying, will it take over from the world majors? And the simple answer in my eyes is no, got no chance. A little bit like Luch, I'm not looking at those marathons and saying, geez, I really want to run Warsaw. It's just, it's nice. I find London interesting. It's almost like they want their cake and eat it too. So I don't know if World Majors or Abbott's or whoever runs that organisation would have liked to have seen London in there. I'm surprised Amsterdam isn't one of the 8 or proposed 10, or whichever way they're going to go. I just thought there was a lot of hype over nothing. So,
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know which way it will go. I think it'll become like the Super Halves, which will be just an interesting, localized, continental series of races that you can run. But you're going to also add in that there's Kipchoge, who's doing his world challenge of 7 marathons in 7 different continents over a 2-year period. There was that one in Asia that was looking like it was going to kick off last year that we talked about on this show that doesn't seem to eventuate. There seems to be a lot of hype around everyone going out and making these challenges or coming up with these series, but they then don't ever amount to a lot. But I don't know. With Abbott's, it's getting harder, isn't it, guys? So maybe these ones will take some of that space, and people may hype it up. And if you get the right marketing behind it and the right social media, it can blow up pretty quick.
one thing I will do in the coming week is actually run the BPI over it for those 8 marathons, and we'll see how inclusive and friendly they really are.
Yep. And also, just mindful of time, last thing, guys, it would be remiss of me not to mention the passing of Jeff Galloway in the last week. Jeff is an absolute legend of the running community and is credited as the creator of the run-walk method, or the walk-run method, or the Galloway method, or the Jeffing method, whichever way you want to call it. He's been in the running industry for pretty much all of his life, competing at the highest levels, at Olympic level, but also in the coaching space for a lot of people, particularly in the American side of things. He passed away during the week following complications from a stroke and brain bleeds, and he was 80 years of age. So that's pretty sad news to end the news on, but yeah, it's sad to see him go. I do remember, I guess, Tara, we saw him at Dopey Challenge, didn't we, when we were there? He was up there on the stage and everyone just treated him like an absolute legend.
Yeah, he had a good audience, that's for sure. He was very captivating to listen to.
No, agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sad.
That's it. And that's the news this week, Lucia.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tim. Now, Tara, it's time for your next trivia clue, please.
Excellent. So the next trivia clue might give it away. I'll say that this person probably has one of the most well-known marathon photos taken of them.
No.
Still not happening? No.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got
Really
one
bad at
idea.
this.
Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah.
No. Is she
okay.
allowed to, Tim?
Yeah, but you can't tell her if she's right or wrong.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can say whatever.
Fair enough. Catherine, what's the lady that ran Boston? Is it Spitzer?
Spitzer.
That one. That's my guess. So we'll
Nice
see.
guess. Tony,
Now-
you got any suggestions yet?
No, not really. I'm going to pull one out of the backside and say Dina Caster from World Major Marathon Podcast Marathon Talk. So
Nice guesses, guys. Very good guesses.
Could
You'll
be
get it
Robin.
definitely.
Could be Rob De Castella again. He could be lazy and just doing the same one over again.
Just finding new clues. It is not Rob De Castella, I'll say that one.
Very
Alrighty,
good,
guys.
Tara.
Now,
Very tricky.
yeah. This one, I think I could be wrong, but it's the only one that I can think of that does have the iconic marathon picture. Now, guys, let's talk about our topic for tonight, our non-negotiables when selecting races to run. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask a bunch of questions and throw them out to you guys, and then get your guys' opinion. So first one, when you're considering signing up for an international race, what's the very first factor that makes it instantly a yes or a hard no? Peter?
Probably very simple. Is it somewhere I actually want to go or not? Like, is it a destination that's, I might have been there before, but that doesn't really matter. But is the destination where it's at appealing? Do I actually want to go there? That's probably the first one.
Tony?
And I'll give you an example. With the World Majors, I decided, I chose New York without knowing what the majors were because I really wanted to go to New York. That was my means of getting there. And then I found out there were 5 other races, and I thought, Chicago, London, Boston, etc. I'd really like to go to those places. So that's what kept me going. So yeah, the destination's the biggest factor for me.
And Tony?
This is going to sound really boring, but probably the first thing I think about is safety and do I want to go there, right? It's very similar to what Pete was just saying, and very similar story around New York. We just wanted to run New York Marathon and call it quits and say to everyone forever and a day we ran New York Marathon. And lo and behold, 14 to 15 marathons later, some and possibly some more in the future. We'll see how we go. But at the moment, and I guess in those, once I realized that there was something to aim for with the majors, that was decision made, right? So, but at the moment, if I wanted to travel, there are some places that I wouldn't be traveling to. So I think that safety component is really important for me at the moment. And, fair enough, you only see what's on the news or on social media and whatnot, but there are certainly, I don't think I'd be traveling to the US anytime soon, for example, because I just think that it's pretty unstable there and not necessarily talking any sort of politics. I just think there's instability in that country at the moment. So at the moment, I think safety, that's the one thing that does worry me about Cape Town is just safety. Because safety is Cape Town is part of what I want to do. I'm just not convinced that it's going to be the safest part in the world. And I know that people will come out and say, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. I've got to go through that myself. But I think safety and just the vibe, we chose Amsterdam last year because I really wanted to run Amsterdam because I'd heard third-party stories. I'd been to Amsterdam before. I wanted to legally eat cookies, so all of those things were part of that decision-making process. And I feel pretty safe in Amsterdam. So I think safety is the real thing for me.
And Tim?
I was just going to say, you eat the wrong cookie and you end up down in some back alleyway somewhere. It's got to be the bling, Lucia. I'm not going to travel 10,000 kilometers around the world to some destination, run a race if there's no bling at the end of it.
No, fair point. Tara?
Yeah.
Not so much now, but when the kids were younger, it was destinations that we could take the kids to as well. So hence the reason why we did Dopey Challenge is because we knew that the kids would enjoy Disney World, and it got us to do our running as well. So to us, that was a big thing, especially when the kids were younger. Not so much now. Now it's a case of bling, destination, is a place that I'm going to enjoy running, and a lot of it is also. I agree with Tony, safety. So, I definitely would not be going and thinking, I'd love to run a marathon in Iran at this present point in time. I'm not trying to bring world politics into it. But, I wouldn't be signing up for something like that at this present point in time. Yep.
Cool. I think for me, I think at first it was, where do I want to go and see places like New York? Same thing as everyone said, because you want to go to New York and then he found out about the rest of the majors. But I think now for me, it's a couple of things. Is there something quirky about the race? So, for instance, with the Detroit one, because that runs into Canada and then back into the US, a little bit quirky, and Vegas because it closes the strip. So something maybe a little bit quirky. But now I'm also thinking ones that have a decent cutoff, minimum 6.5, 7 hours, because I'm not worried about time anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so for me now, it's just to enjoy it. So for me, it's probably, is it a place I want to go to? Does the race have something quirky about it? And does it have a generous cutoff time? So next one I'm going to ask, guys. Now, do race day conditions or elevation, is that a non-negotiable when you're choosing a race? This time I'm going to start with Tara.
The elevation definitely does for me now. With my pacemaker, it makes it very hard to go up hills. Like, I just don't do that very well. If you're going to be running and you know that it could be middle of winter and it is a place that is going to get a lot of snow, I probably wouldn't do that. We're not equipped for snow running here in Queensland for obvious reasons, because I don't think we've seen snow in Queensland. Well, not in this part of Queensland where I live. So I probably, the weather conditions definitely have to make a bit of a difference to me too. If I know it's going to be minus 20, that doesn't appeal in any way, shape or form to me. So, yeah.
And Peter?
Along similar lines, elevation I'm okay with. Like, I am nervous about Hobart because it's over 400 metres, so I'm just trying to do hills in my training, but that's a lot. My worst nightmare would be something in the desert, like Marathon des Sables, where you also have to carry your own gear, or something like Badwater ultramarathon, 135 miles in the heat. There's no way I'd finish that alive. So I would never choose something like those two. And I love cold weather running, like the Japanese events that are held on the tail end of the winter. That's my perfect conditions.
And Tim?
If it's going to be a memorable location, the terrain doesn't really bother me. The environment doesn't really bother me. We've done trail runs, Tara, in New Zealand that we really loved in the past that had quite a lot of elevation. At the end of the day, we go to create memories. So, if you're running in a location and you're going there because you're looking for that terrain, what does it matter? You do ideally want to run in cooler weather so that it's a easier run somewhat. I don't want to be running in 36-degree centigrade, humidity, high humidity environments. But I'll go wherever as long as it meets the other requirements I need.
Anthony, what about you?
3 laps of a 7K loop on a less than flat course with a number of switchbacks, some difficult underfoot on cobbles. Thanks, Mark. No, definitely not a trail run. Definitely not something that's going to have excess hills. Yes, I do want to go to a place and travel and enjoy the experience. But I also want to enjoy the run. So I don't do trail runs. I don't do ultras. I don't care for it. No one's ever going to talk me into doing it. So if it's a trail run, I could go to that place for a holiday. I could go there and cheer people on, but I'm not going to run it.
No, I'm very similar to you. And I think for me is if the course is a multi-lap course. So, but saying that, I've stupidly signed up for a half marathon. It's a 3-lap course, but it is on the new runway at Western Sydney Airport. So that's the only reason why I'm doing it. Yes, I could have chosen a shorter distance, but where's the fun in that? So if it's a multi-lap course, won't do it.
It's like Noosa. Noosa is the Noosa Marathon is a 10K loop you do 4 times. How boring. Why would you do that? You wouldn't be able to find a park in Noosa anyway, so you'd have to be dropped in by parachute, and to run 4 10K loops. No thanks. That just sounds horrible.
We've done this before. We won't do it again. It is not likely to ever do again.
Yeah.
Ditto, I'm afraid.
It's not scenic. You're running past houses when you've got views of the ocean and river, and the very section you run along the river is actually quite small. So, not for me.
Anyway, let's stop bagging Noosa and get on to the next question.
Yeah. So next one. Are there are there any logistical must-haves? So with accommodation, transport to expos, course support, or anything like that, that is a race must meet before you commit? Going to start with Tony this time, because his face is looking, I've got no idea.
No. The race has got to resonate with me, and the place I'm going to has to resonate with me, and there's got to be like a vibe around the event, right? So you think about Honolulu. I can't wait to do Honolulu. I love the North Shore of Hawaii. I've been to Honolulu. I enjoy the place. So it's just got to have that sense of place for me, I think, in respect of why would I decide to go and do it? So, but it's got to resonate. It's got to have that vibe. And I've written something else down here, but I can't read my own writing. So, but they're the main things.
And Tim, what about yourself?
You've got to have the logistics sorted out for any race, and you've got to make sure you're staying near the event village or the precinct or whatever you want to call it, where the start-finish areas are. And if not, you've got to have the local the local transport options sorted out beforehand, or have a hire car or something. It gets messy, so you've got to make sure it's easy. And for Tara and I, whenever we're traveling around and we're doing races overseas, we've got to get to the point. We always look at where the race is and where the start line is, or where the buses take off from, and get our accommodation as close to that as we can possibly get to it, just to reduce it. Like running a marathon or a half marathon, they're tricky enough on race day. You've got enough going through your mind that you just don't want to be having to think about transport options and logistics of getting to the event precinct. Quite often they're early starts, so you're doing it in the dark as well. So you just want to make it as easy as possible.
And Tara?
Yeah, that's why we go with Travelling Fit for the ones that are overseas. Like there is some that we've done overseas by ourselves and we've managed quite easily, but those are countries that we've already previously been to and know the system very well. But with Travelling Fit, I'll give them a plug. They do an amazing job of all that logistical stuff, so your brain doesn't have to think. And all you have to focus on is actually just running the race. You just train, run the race, and they do all the hard stuff for you. So logistically, they are my go-to people for running any race. Yeah.
And Peter, yourself?
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines. I love something that's just easy to organise. Some of the races are fantastic with information on their websites about where to stay, where's convenient to the race start, and we'll even give you links and deals and all that sort of thing. I like having a range of options to choose from. Sometimes you do want like a house or an apartment, or sometimes you just want a really nice hotel. But my number one factor here, guys, is I love races you can just sign up for. There's no ballot, none of that waiting 6 months rubbish. You can just register. That's a huge win in my eyes.
Luch, can I just answer that question correctly? Because I've just sort of realised you skipped a question. I had the answer to the question previous, but anyway. For me, logistics has to be workable. So very much along the same lines what everyone else has talked through. You've got to understand the main areas where you've got to be. You've got to understand the timing. You've got to understand things like your public transport. And to me, I think they're the non-negotiables. You've got to understand staying close to the start or the finish could be different for each and every race. So it's about understanding that whole process of how do I fly in? How do I get there? How do I get to the race on race day? How do I make sure I get in the start area by 8:45 at Tokyo? Those are the things that you've truly got to understand about making a choice to travel. So,
and it all gets harder when it's in a foreign language and you're trying to work it out on a website somewhere and trying to look at maps, and the maps haven't got English on them as well as to where they go from and what buses to take and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it is quite a challenge, isn't it?
Now, guys, I'm just conscious of time, so I'm going to ask one more question. If you could design your perfect non-negotiable approved race anywhere in the world, what would it look like? Tara, I'm going to start with you first.
A non-negotiable approved race anywhere in the world. Okay, so that would have to be, it's got to have the good start line where you're not getting crammed into everybody, and you've actually got a start line, maybe the rolling starts. I really enjoy those rolling starts rather than corral, and then you've got a 5-minute start before the next wave. Just have a nice rolling start and just, have it paced nicely. I think having it in a place where you can get really good spectators as well, or a good finish line spectator, would be really, really good for me. And it has to have a really good medal, as Tim said. I don't want to be traveling halfway around the world for something that looks average. Like, everyone complained about the Boston Marathon medal the year we got it. I didn't actually mind it. It wasn't too bad. But I have run races before where the front of the medal's peeled off it and stuff like that. And it's like, that's really disappointing when you've paid that sort of money, run that race, and then to end up with something that you just don't have the memory of. But look, I'm somebody who actually hangs my medals and displays them. So, yeah, other people probably don't care.
And Tim?
42.2 kilometres, all downhill, but not a steep ground downhill, just a nice gradual downhill, 1 metre down for every 100 metres run. So it's 1 in 100 gradient. It would be in a location which has got fantastic views and scenery all around you, huge crowds. And on top of that, it would be one where the accommodation and transport are all seamless, whether it's, you stay at the start or you stay at the finish. And again, biggest, shiniest medal you could possibly get, probably the world's biggest. That would be my ideal non-negotiable approved race. It'd be nice if it was in Australia, so we didn't have to travel as far, but at the same time, I'll go anywhere for a good race and a good time. Then the final non-negotiable is it's got to be near a good pub or restaurant or somewhere afterwards to go out and celebrate what we've done. That's important.
Tony?
It's thinking about it, it's got to be attractive so that you've got a diverse community that's running it. So it's got to be a race that people want to do. I've just written down some words. It's got to be fun. It's got to be a destination. Has to be vibrant. So unlike Sydney this year, you've got to have centralized places where runners are coming and going, and you just get that vibe. It's got to be iconic. And just the last two that I think all races need to do. There's got to be cold Coke on course and then cold beer at the end.
Yeah.
And Peter?
I've written down a few things I would like. I do like a value for money destination. Now, I'm not saying it has to be really cheap, but just that, it's not exorbitantly priced for accommodation and meals and whatnot. I do like some pre and post event opportunities, like whether it's shakeout runs or great things to do around the city at the expo, and then I like the celebratory events afterwards as well. I do like big city marathons, but I also like a bit of nature as well. Ones like Queenstown are definitely on my bucket list, where the scenery is spectacular. I hear what Tim's saying about the pub. I am more interested in great food. I want there to be really nice options both before and after the run. And, I don't mind what cuisine it is or how different it is, but it's always fun to try something, different when you're away from home. So great food is a tick with me.
I think for me, the option to, you guys are going to laugh when I say this, paid early. No, surprisingly, no. Paid early access to the expo, and therefore you're there before the crowds. Start line vibes of doping.
Yes.
Course atmosphere of New York, because that is just an absolute corker. And also the finish line of New York and how they celebrate the back of the Packers. That would be ideal. And also, again, you guys may or may not laugh, but a decent contents of a goodie bag post-race. Yeah. Don't give me an apple, I'm not going to have it. But like a bottle of sports drink, I'll have it. Or an alcoholic beverage as soon as you cross the finish line, because correct. One of my fondest memories of Chicago is being handed a nice cold can of beer before a bottle of water, and that beer never tasted so goddamn good. So for me, those would be my dream non-negotiables.
The only problem with Chicago beer is that I had 2 before I'd left the precinct because Sharon doesn't drink beer, and it went straight to my head. So that's the only drama with having. So you just got to. Sorry. So therefore, you need to have a partner that will drink a beer with you and not say, "Here, you have mine." So,
Or alternatively, that's why you need a decent goodie bag, because if there's like crackers and the fake cheese dip, you have that and then you have your beer.
make a picnic out of it. Absolutely.
So that is something that's gone missing over recent years, hasn't it? The old goodie bag at the finish line.
Yeah.
It used to be common practice that you'd finish and you get a goodie bag, and in there would be sometimes a bit of merch, sometimes some vouchers to certain things locally to go to pubs, restaurants, whatever, drinks, food. It'd all be in the goodie bag when you cross the line. They don't do that anymore. That all stopped probably COVID times.
Oh,
Let's bring it back.
Disney still do a good goodie bag.
Yeah, but that's a rare thing. Like, let's petition to bring it back. Let's get sponsors back on board to do the goodie bags at the end.
Bring back but we need to put the decent goodie bags. Don't give me a muesli bar and an apple, which I'm never going to have. And if you're going to put an apple in there, don't make it a green one, make it a red one. Just saying.
Hey, just one other thing before you wrap up, Lucia. Just one of the other things that's important to me when I do select races overseas. A lot of it comes down to the content that's available online, either via YouTube or social media. And you can tell when you look at some of that how good the vibe is. And it's one of the reasons why Tara and I want to do Marathon de Medoc later on. We've seen the videos, we've seen the pictures, we've seen the influencers talking about it. It just looks like a really good event, which is why we want to go there. And I think that's part of the reasons, or one of the things that affect us or influence our decision on the races we do, is the social media videos and stories that come out. So yeah, I think that's a big thing, that if you want to have a good event and you want to attract people from around the world, you've got to bring in the influencers and get some decent YouTube videos up as well.
But not the Matt Choys. We don't want the Matt Choys. And
No.
I will happily sit here and bag him on this show. Sorry, but he's not the influencer you want.
No, exactly. I reckon we could have a whole podcast discussion about running influencers and what they're doing to running. But anyway, don't get me started on that one. Well,
I'll make a
guys,
note.
I think that's been a very fun discussion. So listeners, let us know, did we get it right, or should there be any other non-negotiables which determine where and when you race? So let us know by sending us a message. Now, before we jump into an exciting part of tonight, Peter's tip, it's time for Tara's last clue for Tara's trivia. Now, let's see if we can guess it. Tara, over to you.
So you're saying my segment's not interesting, but Paul's is.
No,
That's how
no, just
I'm
because it's...
reading
Okay, mate, let me take a step back. No, Tara's trivia, love it, but I can never get it. But because it's Peter's first time giving a tip, that's why tonight Peter's tip is a bit more exciting.
I love that backpedaling there, Lucia. Love that backpedaling.
You don't know what it is either. It could be rubbish. If I may, not the trivia.
The trivia might be too. So my last clue for tonight. This person, as a registered runner, was the first woman to run the Boston Marathon.
No,
Yes,
I got it.
You did get it.
And
Well
for the
done,
record, I did not know. Tara does not share anything with us, so we've got no idea. We go into blind like you guys do. Oh, yay!
Yes,
So
well
So
done.
it is.
Catherine Spitzer.
There you go. I knew that on the first tip.
Oh, that's because
You
read
knew
my
that
notes.
last week.
I'm writing the notes and hiding them from you right now.
Yeah. Maybe just keep it up here. I didn't know she was a commentator, so I had no idea. But I love her.
She does commentate, or has done in the past.
But does she like Harry Styles? That's
Tony, who doesn't?
uh,
Actually, let's not even go there. Now, just before things go too crazy with Harry talk, it's time for Peter to give us her first Peter's tip.
New to the start, lamb strong from the heart. Peter's got wisdom guiding every part. Flying a runner, rising up fast. stick. Lessons that last. Every step forward, confidence grows. Join the journey, that's how it goes.
Peter, what's your tip of the week?
Well, thanks, Luch. I've decided to team it with the theme of this week and make it about choosing races, but also distances that you want to do. So choosing races and locations can be a big decision, a huge decision, actually, when you take into account the cost and the time involved and the commitment to training. These can come down to big lifelong goals for some people, something they've always wanted to do. And my tip this week is inspired by a runner I met at Parkrun on Saturday. And she wanted to do a marathon before she turned 50. She didn't get around to doing it. She's since had a hip replacement. And she said, maybe I can do one before I turn 60. And of course I said, yes, you can. I said, the question is, do you want to do it? And this goes for any race distance you're thinking about, any event. Do you want to do it? Is it a yes? Is it a hell yes? Then you definitely should. You can do it. You just have to want to. And that's Pete's tip for this week.
Oh, like it. Very good. Thank you very much, Peter. Now, guys, unfortunately, the episode is about to end. But just before we do, Tony, what's on for next week?
Next week, we are looking at some of the weird things that we've seen when we've been out running. So whether it's someone in the crowd being passed by a banana, a man running with a Big Ben thing around him, out on the course, something another runner has or is doing that's really weird. We've seen some weird stuff running, the amount of events that we've done. Influencers over celebrating a personal best or a record, or crowd members with silly signs and posters. And we've seen some crackers in that space, can I tell you? We're going to discuss it all. So weird things that we've seen while out running. As we keep saying, we're the only podcast with 5. I think that's the thing now. I've got to hold my hand up and go 5 7-star world major marathoners. And as usual, it's going to be another great episode and definitely one you should not miss. Back to you, Luch.
Thank you, Tony. So, guys, that's it for this week's show. As usual, it's been another fun one, and hopefully we've again inspired some of our listeners to choose races which provide an awesome race day experience. We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. So why not contact us with a message on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com and tell us your thoughts. We love getting feedback, and we'll reply to most messages in a very timely manner. So why not send us a message telling us whether or not we got our non-negotiables right tonight? And you can watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, or listen on Apple, Amazon, and all other major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you next time on the Flying Runner podcast. Happy running.
Happy running.
Happy running.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be.